Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next
getting
question.
The reporter didn't even get to finish his question, but he didn't need to. In just 2 words, Angel Reese summed up the entire WNBA's dynamic with Caitlin Clark. And those words marked a turning point. Caitlin Clark's influence has been massive. Millions of fans, jam-packed arenas, and record-shattering TV ratings. But just as obvious is the league's total mishandling of this chance. Instead of welcoming Caitlin's impact, many pushed back. They questioned the hype, dismissed her contributions, and even mocked her supporters. They treated the Caitlin Clark effect like a problem rather than the gift it truly is. To anyone watching from the outside, it was baffling.
But the WNBA last year, bless their hearts, finally got a star. And they didn't know that. They couldn't figure it out. Well, we don't want to put too much Caitlin Clark on. Nope, every game. More Caitlin Clark all the time, always. Caitlin Clark is easily the most influential athlete in a team sport since Michael Jordan.
The sold-out crowds, the national headlines, the buzz, the hype, it was everything the WNBA had wanted for decades. At last, they had the superstar, the spotlight, the cultural breakthrough. The league was on the verge of major money, higher salaries, and global attention. But here's the twist. It was Caitlin Clark leading the charge. And for many, that wasn't exciting, it was devastating. For some veterans, Caitlin's emergence wasn't a victory. It was the end of their dream. The dream that they would be the ones to raise the league together. And the hardest truth? After years of hearing that fans didn't care about women's basketball, they finally showed up. But they showed up for Caitlin.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Yes, Diana, there are stages to this. Much like grief, players and media have cycled through denial, anger, and more. Line it up, and it's startling how well it all fits. The result has been messy, bitter, and embarrassing for the league. But now something shifted. A seemingly ordinary moment turned into a massive turning point. The WNBA suddenly realized what was coming and scrambled to adjust. Let's break down how we got here. But first, hit like if you're ready to see the league finally bow to Caitlin Clark. And don't forget to subscribe. Now let's rewind.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
By this point last year, Caitlin Clark was already living rent-free in half the league's heads. She didn't just arrive, she blew the doors off. TV ratings tripled, NBA arenas were selling out, and jersey sales soared. Every Fever game became an event. Fans lined up for hours, and scalpers charged playoff-level prices for regular season tickets.
Now, if we say her stats are today, what?
20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds.
That's crazy.
But 5 points.
The jealousy didn't even wait for Caitlin's pro debut. It started long before. Her hype was generational. She shattered the all-time NCAA scoring record, men's and women's. She dragged Iowa to back-to-back national championship games. She sold out every arena she stepped into. She drained logo threes like layups. Then came the WNBA draft. No drama, no suspense, just a coronation. Caitlin was the obvious #1 pick. But more than that, she was the moment. The cameras, the sponsors, the non-stop media, it was all hers. And that's when it got uncomfortable. Sure, the league had seen stars before. Aya Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Breanna Stewart, true MVPs, true champions. But none entered with hype like this. And for some, it stung. Stage 1 of grief, denial. Not just doubt, but outright resistance. Players, media, and execs tried to downplay her impact before she even suited up.
Caitlin's coming. There's more than just that are coming. What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
If Caitlin had flopped, or even been average, the veterans would have celebrated. The story would have written itself. College is different from the pros. They'd say you can't just walk in and dominate the league's foundation players. The hype would have cooled, the coverage would have faded, and the old guard would have been vindicated. But that didn't happen. Her first game drew 2.1 million viewers, the biggest WNBA audience in more than 20 years. Every game that followed, ratings surged. National TV spots sold out crowds, jerseys flying everywhere. Caitlin didn't just meet expectations, she crushed them. And with that came stage 2, anger.
Voting last season. Clark, hammer. 3 Sky players coming over. Here's Clark. Her 29 points gets tripped up.
Is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
Once it was clear Caitlin wasn't slowing down, the resistance moved onto the hardwood. The league, intentionally or not, let it happen. Players started taking extra shots, cheap screens, unnecessary contact, off-ball hits. Officials, silent. The trend was clear. Let her get beat up, let her get tired, make her second-guess her place. If the hype wouldn't fade, maybe physical play could kill it. Night after night, Caitlin looked worn down, bruised, and frustrated. But she refused to fold. She toughened up, got stronger, and after the Olympic break, returned with MVP-level play. She broke the assist record, made first-team All-WNBA, and led Indiana to wins. At that point, the league entered stage 3, bargaining.
It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. So last night we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover?
The one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, but she was a white girl from the middle of them.
Players and media knew they couldn't tear Caitlin down directly. It would backfire. So they turned on everything around her. They went after the fans. They went after the media. The story became, Caitlin wasn't the issue, everyone else was. They claimed she was given special treatment. They said her fans weren't real WNBA fans. They even suggested her popularity was about race. Never mind that she led the league in assists as a rookie, brought record crowds, and delivered unprecedented exposure. None of that mattered. The spin was bias, not brilliance. 9 interview. It's classic propaganda. Repeat the story enough, yell it loud enough, and eventually some start to believe it. And now, unbelievably, some corners of basketball think Caitlin Clark isn't great, just lucky. But the strategy backfired. Instead of fading, her effect grew stronger. One by one, decorated veterans started joining the fever. Not desperate players looking for a job, champions with resumes. Dewana Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sydney Colson, women with rings and options, all chose Indiana. Why? Caitlin Clark. Just a short while ago, voices like Cheryl Swoops and Diana Taurasi called Indiana undesirable. That narrative collapsed. Suddenly, Indianapolis wasn't a stopover, it was the destination.
While Caitlin is fantastic and I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA, there are women that were worthy of coverage prior to her arriving, and I just will not be silenced when it comes to that.
Then came the upgrades. Entire venues were being switched for Caitlin's games. Not for playoff races, not for MVP showdowns, just for her. Teams that usually played in small gyms were moving to NBA arenas because demand was overwhelming. If Caitlin was coming, you needed more seats. Next was the broadcast schedule. Out of Indiana's 44 regular season games, 41 were nationally televised. That's not visibility, it's saturation. Networks weren't cautious, they went all in, betting on Caitlin Clark night after night. Even preseason was insane. One exhibition sold out a 15,000-seat arena. No stakes, no playoff race, just Caitlin warming up. Fans happily paid hundreds just to watch her shoot around.
And for the first time in history, WNBA games will be played in the United Center. The Chicago Sky will host the Indiana Fever at the UC on Saturday, June 7th, and on Sunday, July 27th.
By this stage, the Caitlin Clark effect was impossible to deny. It wasn't hype or clever PR. It was data, revenue, and unstoppable momentum. For many players, the reality stung differently. Their franchises weren't being built around them anymore. Everything revolved around Caitlin. Ticket sales spiked only when Indiana came through. Broadcasters leaned on her. Sponsors leaned on her. Fans definitely leaned on her. And somewhere in the middle of packed arenas, nonstop promos, and a league-wide energy shift, a new feeling took root: acceptance. That's when players started opening up.
And the average reported ticket price was $650. Now, if you do the math here and you do 15,000 people times $650, that is almost $9.75 million just for a WNBA preseason game.
Has the coverage been flawless? No chance. Biases still linger. Double standards remain. And plenty of voices nitpick more than they celebrate. But the tone has changed. The same outlets that once questioned every step now spotlight her leadership, focus, and influence. Players who once seemed skeptical have begun giving genuine recognition. Not just she's talented, but she's transforming the game. Which leads directly to the defining scene: Caitlin Clark's homecoming.
Yes, have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlin Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television games? I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else.
Caitlin Clark a problem, bro.
Yeah, she that.
I just think about my rookie year and I think about how I came into the league and I'm like, bro, it was such a crazy transition for me to just understand what it's like to play at the pro level. And it's like this girl coming in as a rookie and going she broke the record for assists. I don't think people really understand how crazy that is to do as a rookie, your first year doing this. But that's another episode. Shout out to Caitlin, bro.
The plays that she was making still, despite all that, was insane. But people were so caught up in the logo threes and the highs, the 20 3-point attempts per game, which absolutely I understand that. It was so much fun to watch. But I always said she could potentially be one of the best point guards to ever play in the WNBA.
Over 1.3 million fans tuned in to that exhibition matchup. And it wasn't just the sold-out crowd, it was the comparison. Those ratings didn't just top the WNBA preseason. They beat broadcasts from other pro sports. But it wasn't only about the number of people watching. It was about Caitlin's response. She didn't shy away. She thrived, delivering exactly what the audience came for.
The fans filed outside in droves, getting ready at Carver Hawkeye Arena, and watch parties all around Iowa City. Everybody wants to catch a glimpse of Iowa's favorite daughter, Caitlin Clark, returning home.
With the spotlight locked on her, Caitlin sprinted up court and drained a three-pointer from the exact spot where she once broke the NCAA scoring record. It wasn't just a shot, it was a declaration. The fans went wild, because this wasn't just basketball, it was theater, a storyline, a perfect full-circle moment. Caitlin understood the weight of it all, and she delivered something unforgettable.
Possessions of the day for Brazil. Here's Clark. Wow! You bet! From beyond the logo!
Even the Brazilian national team couldn't resist. After the final buzzer, they didn't just shake hands and walk away. They crowded around Caitlin, grinning, laughing, snapping selfies as though they had just met Michael Jordan. And to them, in that instant, that's exactly who she was.
I think one of the things I love about Caitlin the most is her understanding and willingness to meet the moment and do the thing that she knows everyone wants her to do.
She knows what the people.
She broke the record making that shot to begin with. There's just a certain star quality and star power there, but it takes you being confident enough, willing enough to be oh no, I know what you want. Come here. I'm gonna give it to you. I loved it so much. I just think it's great. I love when athletes have that bring the cameras right over here.
Well,
it's so fun.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. She knows it.
This was the turning point. The sellout arena, 1.3 million TV viewers and opponents swarming her afterward. We live in a snapshot-driven culture where perception often drowns out reality. But in this moment, perception and reality matched. The numbers were already there, the TV slots, the merchandise sales, the arena upgrades. But this moment, this was when the illusion finally broke. The illusion that anyone else was the league's true centerpiece.
Yeah, it is clear that she is having her freaking Michael Jordan moment right now.
Suddenly, players, commentators, and insiders sounded far more pro-Caitlin than they had just weeks earlier. Why? Because after the preseason ratings, the ticket spikes, and the undeniable magnetism she brought into every city, there was no argument left to make.
Well, 1.3 million people watched it on ESPN. 1.3 million people. Let me put that in perspective, just between us. No NBA preseason game has had that audience in the last 7 years. Only 2 preseason games in the NBA have had that audience in the last 15 years. More people watched this preseason game than game 1 of last year's WNBA finals. No MLB spring training game has ever come close. The most is when 912,000 people watched the Yankees-Phillies, and that was 20 years ago. 1.3 million people watched Caitlin Clark.
Then came the offseason, where Caitlin showed why she's built differently. While others slowed down, she was everywhere, guest appearances, speaking gigs, NFL owner meetings, the Masters, and still showing up at the gym by 8 a.m. sharp. No skipping, no excuses, no burnout. That wasn't ordinary discipline. It was Mamba mentality in its purest form.
The favorite to win MVP, should she be?
Yeah, I think so. When you talk about Caitlin Clark, she averaged 19 points, 8 assists. I love that you're counting for me. I need you to count out loud. 19 points, 8 assists last season, but had an even better finish to the season after the All-Star break, after the Olympic break. She lit it up. What did she average? 12 assists during that time? She now has more pieces around her, more teammates she can get the ball to, and she had a full off season.
It is a balance, but she's a generational talent. No league's ever about one player, but in this case, Caitlin brought tens of millions of new viewers into the W, and there's no denying that impact. Not just in the WNBA, but the world of sports. Adam and I talk all the time about she's the most popular athlete in America, you know.
Now Caitlin is stronger, faster, and more prepared for the grind ahead. Her body is ready for the pro schedule. Her decision-making is sharper, and her confidence under the lights has only grown. She's not learning the WNBA anymore. She's preparing to take charge of it, and even her critics sense the shift. Some scramble to praise her before the wave gets too big, while others admit the truth through silence.
Like this season, people are trying to get on the right side of history after kind of being weird the first year. So I can see like the narrative is already kind of, they're waiting for her to produce so that they can say like they were right.
The sting of not being the star, that's the real story here. And every player processes it differently. Some show frustration, others go quiet, and a select few, like Sophie Cunningham, welcomed Caitlin's rise from day one. But no matter the response, the moment has arrived. The evidence is everywhere. That Iowa preseason game wasn't just hype. It was the rebirth of the Caitlin Clark effect. Only this time, it's destined to grow even larger. If you made it here, drop a trophy in the comments. You've earned it. Thanks for watching.
Whatever you want to call Mamba mentality, whatever you define as Mamba mentality, there's no question about it that Caitlin Clark has it.